Ahoy Maties, welcome to the seas. This is Damron. We're playing the new Pirate's Life update that just came out in Sea of Thieves with 5 new tall tales, and we were on the 3rd tall tale, the Captains of the Damned, and we're going to be walking through this tall tale, getting all the commendations in the most efficient way possible, trying to grab all of the journals for you guys and showing you all the puzzles as we move through these tall tales. We're progressing on to the 3rd of 5 total missions in this new tall tale series. So as always, at any tavern or any outpost, I should say, you can start the 3rd mission and you're going to have a discussion with the castaway, and Gibbs is going to come out. Eventually he's going to give you Jack's compass, and you're also going to get the tall tale book, obviously, and the castaway is going to open the portal again for us to travel through into the Sea of the Damned, similarly to the first mission. And the book kind of gives you a little bit of history about Jack Sparrow, but essentially what you need to know is at the very end it says let the needle guide you, essentially meaning that we have to follow Jack's compass because we're looking for Jack, and that's what we want to find is Jack Sparrow. So we're going to be using that compass in this tall tale in order to tell us where to go. Now when we progress through the tunnel into the Sea of the Damned, the first place that we're going to come to when we come out of that portal is going to be the Whispering Bayou, and this is kind of like a windy path. You can actually go left or right, it doesn't matter. We're going to go to the same location. Don't worry about exploring anything in the bayou yet, okay? The first thing you want to do is sail to the end of it in your ship, and again, you could pull out his compass if you were curious about where to go, but eventually you're going to get to the end of this little pathway and you're going to see a barrier in front of you, and if you whip out his compass at this point, it'll actually change and it'll point to the right where those 2 torches just lit. So let's head that way, and we're going to head on over here, and we're going to find basically a beached and destroyed ship called the Blue Bayou, and here we're going to get on that boat by heading to the front of it. We're going to have a rock on the right hand side that we can get up to get onto the boat, head into the captain's quarters, and in the captain's quarters is going to be a candle where we can get the Flame of Souls, which is needed for a lot of parts in this mission. So once we've got the Flame of Souls, now we can go back to our boat, okay? And there's a rowboat here that's going to take you along this path, so take that. It's a little bit quicker. It is linear, and it's eventually going to spit you out at where you had your your boat parked. It's going to spit you out right here. And now what we're going to do, now we have the flame, is we're going to head to the left side of that barrier, and you're going to see a little hut here with a ladder leading up to the 2nd story. So let's go ahead and hop off our rowboat, walk over there, head up the ladder, and when we get to the top of the ladder, you're going to have a lantern on the left and the right side of this door that you need to light with your Flame of Souls. Once you do that and you turn around, you'll notice a lot of ghost townsfolk kind of creepily just appear. And if you go down there, what you're going to notice is they all have candles in their hands, and 3 of them are not lit. So you need to use your Flame of Souls to find the 3 ghosts that need their candle lit with the light. And you do that obviously just by walking up to them, and you can see which ones don't have it, and then obviously bring it up like you would any other flame that you're going to give to a lantern or anything else. So find the 3 that need that lit, and once you find all 3, you're going to trigger a cutscene, and I won't obviously spoil the cutscenes for you, but that will trigger it, and a ritual will occur that will eventually culminate in the dissipation of the barrier that was blocking our path from moving forward. So now we can actually progress the tall tale and go forward. But before we do that, we want to collect our first set of journals, and 3 of them are in the Whispering Bayou. Okay, so we're going to take the rowboat from where our boat was, and we're just going to head directly north right down the path. It's better to use your rowboat and just use your feet to grab these 3 journals, as I'm going to show you, because the path in the bayou is very windy, and trying to navigate your ship around these journals just is a total waste of time. Okay, but if you head directly north from where we were and you find this little hut that's going to be on your left hand side, you'll see a rocking chair. In front of the rocking chair is a torch that you can light with your Flame of Souls. The rocking chair will begin to rock, and a book will appear on the bench right beside it next to this banjo. So that's going to be our first journal in the Whispering Bayou section. From this journal, we're going to head pretty far east, okay? But just head east. I'm going to speed this up a little bit, but you can follow the same path that I do, or however, whatever path you need to. But from that first book, head directly east, okay? And I'll show you here again. Whip out my compass. I'm heading directly east. And eventually you're going to, I guess, be at the end of the easternmost portion of the Whispering Bayou, okay? You're going to end up in this area here. If you went directly east from the first journal, you're going to end up in this area, and you're going to find a little hut that's going to have a small stairwell leading up to the second floor, okay? And this is where we want to go. So we're going to go up this stairway, and up here there's going to be a torch that we can light with our Flame of Souls, and by lighting that torch, you're going to have a few more torches kind of light the path down this little creek here, and you basically just want to follow those torches as they're leading you where to go, and they're going to eventually lead you back into the river, and you're going to need to go into the water, and you're going to see some broken oars down below on the bottom of the river, and if you just follow that, you're going to find a broken rowboat. In that broken rowboat is our next journal. All right, from this journal, let's just head back up to the water surface here, and now we're going to head northeast. So from the journal that we were at underwater, we're going to head northeast, directly northeast. And what we're looking for is essentially two cages that are hanging from a broken mast, okay? And it's not too far, so you can see I basically just kind of jumped over two small little islands, and I'm here, okay? So directly northeast from there, and we're going to find this broken mast that has two cages hanging down. This is what you're looking for. And here, what we need to do is you need to get up to that mast. I thought you could actually climb up right here, but I guess you can't. So anyway, go back a little bit further on this island than I am now, and eventually you'll be able to walk up on these rocks and get to the bottom of that broken mast, and there's going to be another torch that you can light with your Flame of Souls. Light that, you'll see some candles light all across the mast, and now you're going to be able to shoot the small string that's holding the furthest away cage from you. Shoot that, knock it down, jump into the water, open up the cage, and now we can read our third journal. All right, so now we're going to head back to our boat. We're going to continue on the tall tale so we can exit the Whispering Bayou. There's nothing else left for here that we need to do. So now we're back at our boat, and we're going to head right through where this barrier used to be, okay? And if you whip out Jack's compass, you just have to go straight, basically, just straight ahead. But if you're, wondering or you're not sure, you can always pull out Jack's compass and assure yourself that you're heading in the right direction. And eventually, if you just head straight, you're eventually going to come to this fort here. And the first thing that we need to do when we get here is obviously get off the boat, and on the dock there's going to be a skeleton that has a lantern that we need to light with our Flame of Souls. And like usual, that's going to create a series of torches to light our path all the way up to this large gate, which will now open, and we can enter this courtyard of the fort. So the first thing that we want to do once we get inside the courtyard is head to the right hand side. You're going to see a torch on the post here. We need to light that before we progress too much further, because you need to have the journal appear in this cell before we get too far, and we're going to get that a little bit later. So once you've lit that, we're going to now light the 4 braziers that are around the center kind of platform of this courtyard. And by lighting all of those, the cage door will open and we can fall straight in. And if you go straight to the bottom of the water, you are going to find a lockpick. And we're going to use a lockpick for a few things, but the next thing we want to grab before we go any further is go back up to the top of the water where we fell in, get to the top of the ladder, look for the skeleton that has the chains, and he's going to have a torch that you can light. If you light that torch, look across from him and you'll see 2 other skeletons sitting down, and the next journal will appear in the hand of one of the skeletons. And so once we've got that, now we can grab our lockpick and be on our way. So once we've got our lockpick, we're going to go back into the water and we're going to follow this path here. And this is a linear path, okay? So, you don't have to worry about anything. Just kind of progress all the way to the end, and you're going to get to a door that you're going to have to lockpick in order to open. So once you've picked that lock, we're back into the courtyard. Just head directly across from the door that you came out, and you're gonna have another door in this little stone hut that you can unlock with your lockpick. Once you've unlocked that, now we can head up this ladder and we can cut a rope that's gonna allow us to progress across the wall because we couldn't get past the door that's down there. So cut that rope, you're gonna see all that fall down, and now we have a pathway to get over this wall. So jump onto that newly created pathway and we can jump over the wall, and now we're in this area here. Now we're supposed to be going left and we're gonna use these cages to go up, but before we do that, look to your right, jump over that little fence there. Now we can fall into the roof of that journal that we lit the torch outside of this cage earlier. Okay, so you have to light that torch in order for that journal to be there. So now that we have grabbed that, we can open the cage and head back to where we were. So we're back out in the courtyard. We're just making our way back again. So now we are where we detoured right to get the journal. If you look to the left, there's going to be a pulley that we can interact with. And if you use that pulley, you're going to bring a cage down that you can get in. And this is solo, okay? So if you're solo, you have to do it this way. If you have 2 or more people, you can actually get in to both cages and use the pulley system to kind of get everybody up a little bit faster. But if you're solo, you do need to get into that one and wait for it to automatically bring you up. But once you get to the top, just head around the right hand side, and we're going to go around the outside of the fort wall, up this ladder, and progress onto this gap. You can either run and jump over this, or you can jump sword lunge, however you want. Either way, get across that gap and go to the wall, and you're going to find a pulley that can bring you up to the top of the wall where the lighthouse is. And we're going to ignite the brazier. That's going to give us the light, again similar to what we did in the first tall tale. Again, the left wheel is going to move you left and right, the right wheel is going to move you up and down. So immediately the first rock that the light is originally on, just move the light up to light that brazier, and then we're going to move left to the second larger rock formation. And again, don't move it up or down before you go left, and you'll hit the top brazier, and then move it down slightly and you're going to get the third brazier. And they're kind of hard to see because they're off in the distance, but once you move the light off of them, they're a little bit easier to see. But moving on to the third rock, you're going to move the light up to the top left portion of that rock for our fourth brazier, and then we're going to go all the way left between the 2 pillars of the lighthouse, move the light slightly down for our fifth and final brazier. And once you light all of those, a nice Phantom fleet is going to arrive. It's a pretty cool scene, and they're going to start attacking the fort, and you are going to just need to progress yourself back down onto the beach where your ship is, where it's docked, and eventually some new Phantom warriors are going to attack you. And they're pretty easy, you know, you just kind of swipe them just like a skeleton. They're kind of annoying because they disappear, but eventually Black Dog Briar is going to join the fight. You're gonna have to fight him for a few waves, but once you defeat him, he will surrender and kind of flee and take his Phantom fleet with him. And now you can actually return to your boat, and if you pull out Jack's compass, it's going to give you a new direction to go, and that direction will also be indicated by 2 new braziers that have lit in front of you after the Phantom fleet has left. So once you are heading through those braziers, so you can see we've kind of just moved towards those braziers. Actually, if you pull out Jack's compass, it will reset a little bit after you've gone through those braziers, and it's still kind of basically in the same direction, but it's actually pointing directly to a small cave entrance that you can see off into the distance. So we're going to head towards that cave entrance, and it's actually quite a long little water cave that you're going to have to navigate through, but eventually you're going to get to the end of that, and you're going to see Barbossa's Phantom ship attacking this fort. And we're not going to pull up and shoot him with our cannons or anything. We're actually going to pull up and dock, and we're going to get ourselves onto the dock, and we're going to run into town. And the first thing that we're going to do before we kind of head into the tall tale, so we're supposed to go straight, but before we do that, we're going to turn left here and go up these stairs, because there's a commendation that we want to grab, which is show your colors. And if you go to the top where these cannons are, if you don't have any on you, there is a cannonball barrel that you can grab some from. But get some cannonballs and get into the cannon and take a shot at Barbossa's ship, and you'll get the show your colors commendation.
Like your colors, you bloomin' cockroaches! Surrender, Captain!
All right, so after we've gotten that commendation, now we can start heading into town. So we're going to be going the way that we're supposed to go, and eventually going to come to this scene here where Carlos is being drowned. And if you go to the edge of this well, you're actually going to find a key. So after you've picked up the key, progressing on, again, you're going to have to go this way, but you'll see Jack Sparrow entering this building, which is like a clothing store. So go ahead and go in there. The first thing you want to do is actually turn to the left, and you're going to find the first Townfolk journal right here on a bench to the left in the clothing store. From this journal, after you've kind of read through that, go ahead and turn around and open this latch, and we're going to progress to the back entrance of the clothing store, which is going to take us out to this kind of cobblestone pathway. So just kind of follow this pathway. It's very linear. You're going to have to just kind of progress on through a series of walkways and stairs, and eventually you're going to come to this stairwell here where you see these barrels that have 3 X's on them. So kind of pay attention for that, because right after that doorway you're going to find your next journal on these crates on the right hand side. So you could easily walk past this one. Try to use those barrels with the 3 X's as, you know, your best indicator of when to kind of slow down. So after you've done that, go ahead and move on into this auction area, and you're going to find a building for which you have this nice key. Go ahead and use the key on the door, and we're going to go upstairs, and in the right hand window is going to be a torch that we can light, and this is going to be what we're going to be doing to start the Treasure for Eternity commendation, and that is going to allow us obviously to get all the commendations and all the tall tales, but there's also a journal on this path as well. That note there to the left, you can interact with that, which actually tells you kind of what they were doing and to meet them down at this dock. So if you go down to the dock in front of the auction, you're going to find a rowboat, and if you get into it, and as long as you've lit that torch for the, you know, with the flame of souls, you're going to see this rowboat in front of you, and they're going to be rowing off into the distance, and you just need to follow them. Eventually you're going to get to a gate where you're going to have to, you know, get off your rowboat and actually use a pulley to open the gate. But overall, this path is very linear. This, you know, kind of canal that you're going to be going through is actually a circle. So get back in your rowboat, just progress on just a little bit further. Before we go too far though, you're going to get to this scene where some pirates are kind of shooting each other across the canal. If you go to the left hand side, you're going to find the next journal sitting on top of a barrel. So once you've got that journal, get back into our rowboat, and we're just going to progress on. Again, like I said, very linear. You're just going to progress on, and you're going to see eventually that that ghost rowboat will disappear, and you'll see the 2 guys over on the beach digging. And if you dig where they're digging, you are actually going to uncover the villagers' valuables. So dig that up, pick it up, and give it to the 2 people that are in the rowboat, and that's how you get the Treasure for Eternity commendation side quest completed. So hop back in the rowboat and just kind of progress your way around. Again, it's a big circle, so eventually you're going to get back to the dock where you originally boarded the rowboat. So now we can kind of head back past the auction area. Now we're going to be kind of progressing the tall tale as it's supposed to be done. So kind of head along this linear path here. Again, it's very linear. You're going to just kind of walk and eventually get to a point where you're seeing Jack Sparrow go through this large gate, and that's going to be an indication of where we're going to do these new things. Okay, so you have that big gate there. Before we try to figure out how to go through that, let's actually head to the right and walk up all these stone stairs, and you're going to see these 2 guys looking off into the distance. The crates that are closest to them is going to have the next journal. So going back down to the large gate, if you just turn around, you're going to see a pulley that you can activate. It's going to take you to another level with another pulley that's going to bring down a platform. You're going to use that platform to jump across. You're going to have another pulley to pull that platform that you just used back up so you can get to the next level. When you get up here, turn left, and you'll find another pulley that basically brings some cannons out from the fort wall, but it's going to give you some platforms that you can jump on and jump across this wall. So once you've done that, now you're going to follow this path here. We're going to stay up top, go around until you can find an entryway to your right that's going to lead down into some prison cells. Here you will finally see Jack again kind of going through this steel door, which you can open and follow all the way back, and you're going to see some prisoners that are trying to get the keys from this dog. you know, that scene will dissipate and eventually the dog will disappear, but it'll leave back some ghost paw prints. If you follow those ghost paw prints, it'll lead you to the jail keys. So the first thing that we want to do with the jail keys before we kind of progress the tall tale is we want to get the key to Freedom Commendation. And to do that, you just need to go back to the jail cell where those guys were and be sure that you open it. As long as you open it, you'll get that commendation. So from that jail cell, if we turn to the left, we can now progress the tall tale by going through that hole in the wall and using the keys to get to this area here. And as soon as you open the door, you're going to see Jack kind of hop on some ghost-like platforms, and we need to put the platforms in the areas where he was jumping so we can do the same thing. So there's 2 pulleys in this room, so we're basically going to use those to put those platforms kind of in the middle of the canal there. The third one you can't see. The third one you need to actually look to the left hand side, and through the bars you're going to see a rope that you can shoot. If you shoot that, that will launch that platform out to where you need it to be. So now you can use these platforms to kind of jump along the path and head again to the next area that we need to be. And we're going to come to this courtyard. Again, there'll be a little scene of Jack trying to get into the door, and he'll toss a key and it'll land in this well. So if we use the pulley in that well, indeed, the treasury key is in there, and we can unlock these double doors and head in to quite the scene. It's pretty beautiful. Obviously, I'll skip all the dialogue so you can enjoy it. But after that's over, head to the right-hand side, and now the fort is really starting to get invaded by all this phantom army. It's on fire. Things are lit. So you're going to be progressing along the path, and you will actually be attacked by these phantoms throughout you trying to get back to your ship. And they're not hard, you know, you can just kind of clean them up if you want to. You could actually run by some of them, but eventually you're going to come to the area where you're going to be going down the first roof, and this is where we're going to be getting our very last journal in this mission, the 10th and final journal. So you're going to get here, you're going to see this. It's, you know, pretty clear. The clock tower gets destroyed. It's all on fire. You know, this is the path that you have to take. And so when you go down this shingled rooftop, if you just look right in front of you on the ledge, you're going to see the final Forgotten Memories journal. So now we just need to be progressing on all the way back to our ship. So we're trying to get back to our boat, and it's a linear path. You'll fight some phantoms along the way. There will be 2 areas where you'll be locked, and you'll actually have to fight waves of phantom enemies because the way you need to go is blocked by a barrier. But once you kill all the phantoms, that way will be opened up for you and you can kind of progress on. But the last area that you go to that's going to be blocked off isn't just going to be phantom enemies, but indeed Black Dog Briar has come around for a second round, a second attempt to take us down. This one goes about as well as the first time for him. Again, the phantom enemies really are not hard to fight. They're pretty easy. But once you take him out, the final barrier that was in front of you from getting back to your ship will disappear, as will all the phantom ships that were attacking the fort, and we can finally get back to our boat. And if you look off into the distance, you're going to see 2 new braziers have lit. So if you're on your boat, you can see those braziers indicating the direction that you need to go. You can also see the Black Pearl off in the distance, so we want to go see what's going on up there. And if you think you're going the wrong way, again, you can always take out Jack's compass and make sure you're going the right way. But essentially in this next area, there's going to be a lot of dialogue, a lot of story elements. Obviously I won't ruin that for you, but essentially all you need to do in this section is follow the Black Pearl, and whenever the ships disappear, because part of the, it's like kind of fragmented story, you just need to go to the next brazier. That's really all you need to know in this area, is follow the Black Pearl and follow the braziers. And eventually a lot of dialogue and a lot of cutscenes are going to happen, but eventually you're going to come to this area where 2 more braziers are going to light, and you're going to see to the left kind of a larger island, and you're going to be told that that is the Tavern of the Dam. And again, you're going to see quite a bit of ships and things happen before you get here. But once you do get here, park and head up into the tavern. The cursed captain that you helped out earlier is going to be there, and he's going to let you in. And here we are into the cursed cavern, where again there's going to be quite the cutscene. You're going to talk to a lot of people in here. I obviously won't ruin that for you. You will eventually have to hand over Jack Sparrow's compass to progress, rest though. But once you've kind of given him that and some more dialogue has surpassed, he will meet you outside and, you know, agree to head on this journey with you. So all we need to do now is get back on our boat and go back through the portal back to the Sea of Thieves.
Never mind that. Let us return to the land of the living.
So pretty cool. I really like that. Same like entry back into the Sea of Thieves as the maiden voyage. But once you land back into the Sea of Thieves, you will finish the tall tale and you'll have all the commendations done for Captains of the Damned, all of the journals. You'll have some new ghost musical instruments and a trinket for completing some of the commendations associated with those. So I hope you guys found this helpful. As always, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you on the seas.